The D-backs are facing off the Texas Rangers right now in the World Series. Is something wrong with the MLB playoff format right now? A team that was 84 and 78, the Diamondbacks in this case, has made it to the World Series. Meanwhile, the Mariners, who were 88 and 74, didn't make the playoffs at all. I was floored personally when the Diamondbacks beat the Phillies back-to-back games, especially in Philadelphia, which I know is a little old news, but is worth mentioning because it's just crazy how far they've gotten. The roster difference was incredible with the Phillies and Diamondbacks, and even the Rangers now, and the D-backs are competing right now. I mean, should there be a reconsider of the format of the MLB playoff structure?
So I know at the time we're filming this, the series is 1-1. By the time people listen to it, I think they play tomorrow night. It should be 2-0 Diamondbacks. They have completely outplayed and outclassed the Texas Rangers so far. I think it was you, Jedi, that said that both series were going to go Game 7. You called that. Didn't see that coming. Definitely didn't see them beating Philly in Philly twice. Is there something wrong with the format? Short answer for me is no. I think it's exciting. Long answer is I do not like the division series being or the wild card being 3 games, and they're all played at one place. I do think baseball is a longevity sport over the 162 games. Therefore, I think the playoffs should reflect that. I think the first series should be 5, and everything after that should be 7.
That's a long playoff.
Then trim it.
If there's no hesitation to trim the amount of time that the games are taking. Trim like 3 games off the season. They don't need to play 162, man.
The World Series never went to November until 2001, and that was because of 9/11. Right now, we're going into November easily, on a yearly basis. Yeah. Right. So I don't know if the season's starting later, they're getting more off days, whatever it is. You can start a couple weeks earlier and still give guys rest as long as you schedule it properly where everyone is kind of traveling to indoor places, warm places, all that type of stuff. So, like, I do think the season should start probably about 3 weeks sooner. I don't need that much time for spring training, and neither do these teams.
I'm not gonna lie. I think that there needs to be a whole nother restructure. I think not even mentioning right now the Minnesota Twins, the fact that they won their division and they were barely above 500 speaks volumes to how bad that division is. And I'm not trying to speak up for teams like when you have these Blue Jays, the Rays, the Yankees even, who were like 84 and 78. Like, it's like, it's kind of like, what are we doing here? Like, the Yankees had a better record almost than the Twins, and they get a pass. They don't even go to the wild card. Or no, they did go to the wild card. But they had home field advantage to the Blue Jays, who had a way better record than them. I think that's a flaw in the sport.
But you can say that every single year. You can say that every single year.
I think that the division thing, I think, is almost should be done with, and I think it should just be like the top 8 teams. That's it.
Okay, and here's why they're not doing that, right? Because every other fucking sport has gone away from that except basketball. Every other sport has gone away with that, right? Football has added a team. Right now, they've given 2 byes. The NHL has created the stupidest fucking playoff
system
it's the worst
in the
world.
Yeah,
right.
Easily.
Like the top 8 in the NHL is 10 times better than what we have now. I think baseball is looking at the fact that like the NHL changed theirs, the NFL has changed theirs. The only one that hasn't is the NBA. And I'll be honest with you, the NBA just decided instead of changing the postseason, we're just going to add an in-season tournament.
That should be first one going this year. That should be interesting.
I think that's a test on whether or not there's interest to even start thinking about changing the playoff format.
I don't think there's anything wrong with the format. I think the format is fine. If the format was different, then you wouldn't have stories like the D-backs going to the World Series right now and beating the Phillies twice in Philly when the whole world and the odds were all stacked against them. Like, you'll miss out on stories like that. You make a great point, though, Houdini. It is a longevity sport, so I get it. I say the only tweak I would do, I like yours, Dean. Start the season a little bit earlier. Drop a couple games during the year if you have to in the freaking middle of July or August or something. Find a way to free up 3 to 5 games or a couple days of rest and make that a best of 5 series. I do like that one, but I say the way that it's structured though should stay the same.
Wait, were we delayed this year because of the World Baseball Classic?
Oh, great point. Great point.
I'm not sure.
I think so, because that was in March, wasn't it? Because everybody was all hyped up for Shohei and Trout before the season started.
I think that's why we're delayed. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
But still, I mean, like you said, that's been since 01 or 02 that it's been routinely getting longer. So it wasn't. It was more than just last year.
Yes.
I mean, look, Deepa, I agree with you. It's a cool story. Nobody loves like a Cinderella story more than me in sports. Every time in March Madness, you always hear that. It's just cool to watch.
Right.
But I just personally have a problem when the Minnesota Twins get home field advantage because, in my opinion, which I just think this should be a standard opinion, home field advantage is huge in sports. Especially when you're playing a crowd like Philadelphia, which the Diamondbacks were somehow able to go sweep them there. But with Philly fans, New York fans, Atlanta fans, even Ranger fans are starting to get a little rowdy. Like, I don't want to be the away team there.
But doesn't that give you a juice being a competitor, like going into Philly and stomping on their throat? Like, you know what I mean? Or
For sure, but I'd rather play in front of my
when
home
they're doing
team.
the brave chop and just absolutely decimating them. Like, the better team's going to win. Like, does it take or does it have a big advantage? I think it has advantage. Is it define the game? No, absolutely not.
I do want to pose the question: is home field advantage the least important in baseball?
No, I think that I mean, you see the statistics behind it. I'll use the Yankees as an example. Their record home compared to away is astronomically better.
I understand, but in the ALCS this year, not a single home team won a game.
Wow.
So it's like you go play on someone else's ice and someone else's barn. That's different. You go in the NBA. It's extremely overwhelming if you look at the home record compared to away. And then in football, obviously, if you're like the Bills and you're playing at home, it's game changing. So
different in December. Yeah.
I think baseball is the least important in home field.
Well, I'll give you
I want to disagree. I want to disagree with you, but I don't know. It's tough. I feel like it's in every sport. It's huge, but yeah, if you have to nitpick, it's hard to disagree with you, Dean.
Jedi, I will give you the fact that I do think there are certain teams that home field is really important. The Yankees, the Dodgers, Fenway,
the Bills.
I do agree with
baseball,
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, baseball wise, I do think there's like 3 or 4 like historic ballparks that are hard to play in. So like maybe that adds an extra incentive a little bit, just because like the bright lights, you're in New York, you're in Boston, something like that. So like I can see that, but overall, like going on the road to play Tampa, fuck does it matter?
Well, yeah, I would agree with that then. With that point, I mean, I guess you kind of lose. It kind of favors your opinion, I guess, when you mention the Dodgers because they got swept at home to the Diamondbacks this year, which was really embarrassing for them. But
well, I mean, I just think that series is completely different. I just think that like the stars of LA just went missing, but that also has an effect on your stars in your home field as well. Is like now the lights are the brightest. You're in this big market. Now the pressure and each 0 for game starts to kind of pile up, and here we go. And then the Diamondbacks, like I said, are just too young and stupid to understand what they're doing. They're just going out and having fun playing baseball.